Hey everybody, and welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel. My name is Whitney, and on my channel I talk all about dysautonomia and POTS, something that I suffer from, and just kind of the different things that I've learned about it, and just trying to spread awareness and knowledge. So welcome to my channel. For today's video, we're going to be talking all about the prognosis for somebody with POTS, or what the outlook is like once you become diagnosed with dysautonomia and POTS. So if you have POTS, or maybe somebody you know or love has POTS, maybe you've wondered, what is the prognosis for someone with this condition? How long am I going to have this condition? Is it lifelong? What is my quality of life going to be in 5 years, or just even in a year? These are some of the questions that I've asked myself, and I thought I'd make this video today to answer some of the questions that maybe you have about the prognosis for POTS and what your life can potentially look like. So let's get right into the video. So firstly, the first question is, what is the prognosis for someone with POTS? And generally speaking, research suggests that someone with POTS actually can have a positive outlook on life, a positive prognosis, and one that does not absolutely have to mean that you're going to be stuck with this disorder forever, or that it's always going to be so debilitating. So that's the first thing we're gonna say. There is a promising prognosis for most. Now, in some cases, it can be lifelong, and maybe the outlook not so bright, but we want to focus on the majority, and we want to focus on positivity, and the research is showing more and more that there is hope for those with POTS. So the next question I wanted to address is, are all POTSies, or people with POTS, created equal? And the answer to that is a resounding no. For some people, their condition is actually quite manageable, and they have really mild symptoms. So they're able to go about their day-to-day activities without much coming at them from POTS or stopping them from doing their daily activities. So they can resume work, school, other leisurely activities like, say, hiking, or things that would be hard for a patient with debilitating symptoms. So these people are able to live a relatively normal life, and their POTS doesn't get in the way of a lot of things. Now, on the other side of the coin, there are those who have debilitating POTS, and it affects their daily life, even, taking a shower, bathing, daily household chores. They are really taxing, and sometimes just flat out impossible to do. Sometimes just sitting up out of bed is a chore, and a lot of times these people cannot even sit up out of bed just because they feel so sick, weak, fatigued, and lightheaded, and just a myriad of symptoms that I've talked about on my channel before that you can feel free to check out. But there really is no one size fits all with POTS. Everyone there can be similarities in cases, but everyone's kind of on a different spot on the spectrum, from, really mild to really severe and debilitating. So the next question is, can POTS improve? And that is a resounding yes. POTS can improve, and in fact, a lot of the time it does. Research is suggesting and showing and giving evidence that more and more patients with POTS, they improve over time, and a lot of times within a year they see a significant decrease in symptoms, and they're able to lead a more normal life as they were before they had a diagnosis of POTS. Now, this of course goes hand in hand with making those lifestyle changes that you need to make, and taking care of your body so that you can feel better. But studies are showing that this does not have to be progressively a worsening condition, but in fact can get much better. And also, a lot of people are actually becoming symptom-free over time. So that is a great hope to cling to. The fourth thing I wanted to talk about was, is POTS treatable? And the answer to that question is yes. Now, let me just say, there is no FDA-approved treatment or medication for POTS, but there are things that doctors and scientists and researchers have identified that actually help POTS patients with their symptom control, and just trying to get a better quality of life. And I want to say that there are so many different reasons that someone's autonomic nervous system can go haywire and stop functioning properly. And that's important to note, because depending on why your ANS, or autonomic nervous system, is being disrupted, your treatment will depend largely upon that. So some of the reasons why your autonomic nervous system can go haywire are, autoimmune disease, underlying medical conditions, a traumatic brain injury, a virus. That's how mine seemingly came about, was overnight after I had a stomach virus. There are many reasons why someone can develop POTS, but let's say that you have an underlying medical condition as the reason for your POTS symptoms. Well, if you get that identified by a doctor and they say, hey, you have this autoimmune condition and it's actually causing your POTS, and then let's say that autoimmune condition is highly treatable, and you get those symptoms and that condition under control, more than likely your POTS symptoms are also going to be really well controlled and you're going to have a better quality of life. Now, for other people, such as myself, they cannot find a reason really for my POTS. And so that's also known as idiopathic POTS. So you might have heard that term coined by your doctor. And so this is going to be a little bit trickier to treat, but there are universal methods that doctors are using with their POTS patients to help them feel better. And so uptake of fluids, get a large amount of fluids. I think the recommendation is 2 to 3 liters a day at least. And then of course, salt intake. Some doctors want you to take as many as 10 grams extra of salt in your diet daily. That's a lot of salt. And there are different methods for getting this salt. You can just do it in your diet, using table salt. But there are also There are also, buffered electrolyte salts that you can take in capsule form, and I take those, and I also take like liquid IV. There are these little packets that you put in your water that contain a high amount of sodium and also potassium and other good things for you. So there are ways to get that salt in, and the benefit of that is when you have a high amount of fluid and salt, that's going to keep your blood volume up where it needs to be to help with your blood circulation, thus helping to improve your symptoms and your quality of life day to day. Also, there is, of course, regular exercise as tolerated. If you've been bedbound for a while, especially right after coming down with POTS, or however you want to call that, then your strength is going to be really low, like mine is. And so you're going to have to really ease into your graduated exercise routine, but definitely talk to your doctor excuse me, about what is the best way to go about getting in that exercise. I know for me, he suggested a recumbent exercise bike, so I have one of those and I really need to get on it more. I know swimming is a great exercise for POTS, and so there are things that can be done to help treat your POTS naturally if you don't go the medication route, but there are also medications that doctors are finding, excuse me, I got a frog in my throat, that are finding really helpful for POTS patients. Now, what works for someone might not work for someone else, but sometimes these are really worth giving a try if it's going to really improve your quality of life. And again, like I said earlier, there are actually no FDA approved medications for POTS. But that's not to say that there aren't medications out there that prove really helpful for a lot of POTS patients. I know many people that take beta blockers or different things that help increase your vasoconstriction that really help them. And so it's definitely worth looking into. Your doctor will know more about which medicines might work best for you in your specific circumstance, but there are things to help treat your POTS symptoms. So the last thing that I wanted to talk to you guys about today and answer is there a cure for POTS? And right now, there is no known cure for POTS. And I know so many people wonder this, especially right after you've been diagnosed with POTS. What's the cure for this? I'm going to get better. What do I need to do? And there is no known cure for POTS. But that's not to say that there's not hope, because there really is hope. More and more researchers are giving evidence that people with POTS can get better significantly over time, some people becoming symptom-free over time. And I read a statistic that I think it was 80% of POTS patients over time become, almost completely symptom-free. Their quality of life improves, and, just their quality of life is almost to where it was before they had POTS. Now, for some people, they are going to have lingering symptoms of dysautonomia, those stubborn symptoms that just can't quite, leave you alone. And maybe that'll last for, a few months, for a few years, or maybe it will be lifelong. but that doesn't mean that your overall outlook, your overall health is going to be consumed always by POTS, and your dysautonomia symptoms. So it's really important to focus on that hope and to know that, there is light at the end of the tunnel potentially for you and your POTS. So I really want you guys to focus on that. I'm going to try to focus on that personally and not focus on the negative and what could be, because yes, I could sit here and tell you that some POTS patients are going to get worse over time and their symptoms are never going to improve, and blah blah blah, but that's not really conducive to a healthy mindset or to a health journey where you're looking to get better and you're looking for a positive outlook and to improve your mental health, because your mental health is a huge part of your your health. Because for me, I know my physical health really affects my mental health and my mental state. So the more positive we can be, the better our overall journey and outlook is going to be. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you found it helpful. I hope I was able to answer some of your questions. Let me know down below if this was helpful, if you like these types of videos. I love making content for you guys. The whole reason I created this channel was just to spread knowledge and awareness about dysautonomia and about POTS, and just to make a positive space where we can share our stories with each other and just to learn and grow together. So I really appreciate the support. Please like and subscribe to my channel if you do enjoy these videos. I'm almost to 100 subscribers, so I'm really excited about that. I know it's not that much for a lot of people, but for me it is, because if I can just reach a few people with, a positive message and with knowledge, then, I've reached my goal. So thank you again so much for watching. I hope you're staying well and safe wherever you are, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.